Hey everybody, this is Micah. I've never really done videos before, but I thought I'd make a little video series about my distal biceps tear. I tore my left distal biceps last Friday, which was 5 days ago, and I thought it'd be good to give people a medical perspective and also a weightlifter's perspective on distal biceps tear. So if you look around YouTube, there's actually a lot of videos about this injury. Pretty common lifting injury. And the prognosis is generally pretty good. So just a little bit of background about myself. 31. I've been weightlifting for about 10 years now. I'm a former competitive power lifter. These days I do train pretty heavy, but I'm not competitively active. I like to lift heavy weights and generally be in great condition. So I power lift about 3 days a week, and I also do a lot of hiking, and I'm gearing up to do a lot of 13 and 14,000 foot peaks this summer, so I'm kind of changing gears a little bit. As far as my career goes, I'm a physician assistant. I work in occupational medicine, so I generally deal with a lot of work-related orthopedic type injuries. Prior to this, I worked in orthopedic spine surgery, so I do have a surgical background. And yeah, that's about it. So this is kind of a devastating injury for lifters. It's one of those things you hope will never happen to you, but you know, sometimes your number just gets called. So basically what happened is I was deadlifting last Friday, and I worked up to top set of 500, which isn't really maximal weight for me, but it's definitely heavy. It's definitely probably 95% right now. So, you know, I typically use the alternate grip like a lot of guys will with heavy weights, and I've done this for the last 10 years. You know, I've never had an issue with it. And I set up like I normally do. I took my alternate grip, and I think what happened was I got pretty amped up for this set because I wasn't feeling particularly strong this day. So, I got a little nose torque, a little smelling salt, and I got kind of amped up. And I set up for the pull, and I jerked the bar really aggressively, and I think what happened was my supinated arm was in flexion, and I just felt a really quick series of pops, like pop, 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 and a rip, and I just knew immediately. I was like, tore my bicep. So it sucked. You know, I knew what happened. I looked at my bicep. It was rolled halfway on my arm. My training partner saw it, and he's like, "Oh, dude, you're done." So that was it. So, you know, I went home and I wore a sling for the weekend. I actually went on a pretty long hike over the weekend, and I was fine. So I had, you know, moderate pain when it happened. It was probably a 5 out of 10, where, you know, if you ever broken a bone or something, that's probably like an 8 out of 10. So, yeah, it hurt when it happened, but, you know, within a couple of days, I had almost no pain, and that's because the stretch reflex and the pain receptors in the tendon were kind of relaxed and inactivated after those first couple of days. So there really was minimal pain. You know, I just had a little bit of soreness in the elbow. So here we are 5 days later. I'll show you what it looks like. So you can probably see here, this is my normal bicep, and this is my torn bicep. So you can see I can't really get it to contract here. You can see it's kind of balled up. I mean, I can get a little movement here. So one of the things I was wondering is like, well, how could I even do this if my tendon was ruptured? Well, there's actually a strip of fascia called the bicipital aponeurosis that connects from your distal long head here into your forearm flexors. So there is a little bit of tendon attachment there that allows this small flexion. But, you know, I went and saw an orthopedic sports surgeon a couple days ago, and he said, yeah, it's a full rupture. He said we could get an MRI, but that's a pretty low yield exam. So here I am. I'm scheduled for surgery this coming Friday. He's going to do I believe a single incision suture anchor, which is a pretty classic technique. He's done a lot of these. He says at any given time he's doing a distal biceps repair. So I trust him. He seems, you know, he's a pretty well-respected guy. I actually refer to him all the time. So that's it. I'm a bit nervous. I've never had surgery before, even though I used to work in surgery. I think maybe I know a little bit too much. So I'm a bit nervous, but, you know, I think this will be a huge opportunity for growth, and you know, I'm not one of those people that thinks every single thing happens for a reason, but I do think you can grow from almost everything that happens in your life. So yeah, so I'll post some videos in the coming days after my surgery, and let you guys know how it went. As far as preparing for surgery, I'm going to take in a lot of protein, branched chain aminos over the next couple days. I am going to go to the gym today, just do some light machines with my upper body. Probably not much pulling, but just some light pressing, maybe some abs, and maybe 20-30 minutes of cardio, just because I want to be in good physical condition going into this, and try and stave off as much atrophy as possible. So I'll keep my diet pretty clean. In the recovery period, I really don't want to put on much fat. I know I'm going to lose weight. That's a foregone conclusion. So, I'm going to keep my diet clean. I'm going to return to the gym as soon as humanly possible, hopefully within a couple of days, and start doing some right arm stuff and some leg work. I'll probably be able to squat with a safety bar and cardio and whatnot. So that's kind of my plan going forward. I'd like to return, hopefully, to weight-bearing exercise, with my left arm within 3 months' time. That seems like it'd be a reasonable time frame, but I don't want to get too specific with my predictions. So that's kind of my plan. I've watched a lot of videos. I've read a lot of anecdotal reports of distal biceps tears, and a particularly good one was Elliot Holsa's biceps repair series. I think he had like 5 videos. It was put out maybe 3 years ago about his distal biceps tear. So he took a more aggressive approach. He started training just a couple of days after his surgery. He did some kettlebell stuff with his unaffected arm, and he actually was back in the gym doing most of his normal lifts, I think, in about 3 months' time, at what seemed like maybe 80% of his baseline strength. So I've read other stories like that from really motivated, fit guys that have returned to normal activity sooner than the typical patient, and that's kind of my intention as well. I'm super motivated, and I totally believe with these kind of injuries you've got to do as much as you can, as soon as you can, while still being safe. So that's it. I'll follow up in a couple of days and let you guys know how everything went.